son. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Like it or love it, it's double or nothing. You ain't getting money, the nigga you bugging. Damn ass fat, you know I'ma hug it. Lows by the truck, fuck up the budget. Cashing it in, damn I'm a bucket. OD, you know I overdoes it. If it ain't moolah, we cannot discuss it. Her name ain't Erica, she finna bust it. Her name ain't Megan, but yeah, she a stallion. The way that we dress her ran out of Italian. New chain bustin', beat the medallion. Pull your own troubles out by the gallon. Her name ain't Lotta, but she from the
south.
south.
Hey guys, how's it going? Riley Stewart back at you with another video. Thank you for joining me today. We have the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. This is actually my fiance's car. She is nice enough to let me take it for the day. She's actually behind the camera as well. So if you hear any giggles from my funny jokes, that's who's laughing. So yeah, I just want to tell you a little bit about this car. Let's see if it's worth buying today. Still worth buying in 2023, almost approaching 2024. Yeah, let's go over the car. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about specs. This is the 3.6 liter V6, 348 horsepower, 298 pound-feet of torque. So it's pretty fast. It actually will beat out a V6 Mustang and the V6 Challenger in a race. So if you want to beat muscle cars and look better doing it, in my opinion, I think this car looks great. Get this car, it's a great budget. And it's about on par with the Camaros, the 4-cylinder and the V6 Camaros, maybe a little bit slower than those. This is the base model V6. So the 4-cylinder model is a 2-liter turbo, making 274 horsepower or 275 pound-feet of torque. And you can pick one of these up at about $17,000. That's what she paid for it. I think that's a good price, personally. I think if you're in the market for it, definitely check it out, but there are some things that we need to consider as well. So this car is also rear-wheel drive. You want rear-wheel drive, especially in a car like this. Feels very sporty, feels very good. You can break the tires loose on this very easily, especially with the amount of power you're pushing out. This one is not as tunable, I would say, as the 2-liter. So if you're looking to tune the car and hoon it a lot, or at least the engine, I would probably steer more towards the 4-cylinder model. I know a lot of people get tunes on them or upgrade the turbos. So one thing I like about this car that I just think is a cool design feature is this thing. It makes it super easy to just get the seatbelt and then get it out of the way whenever someone needs to go in the back of the seat or whatever. As you can see, these are the base model seats. They're actually pretty good. They're leather on the sides with nice bolsters, and then it's like a cloth in the middle. Super easy to clean. The seats are manual for the base model. For the R-Spec and for the Ultimate package, they are motorized, so that is another factor there. One thing that is a little annoying about this car is if you come here, the trunk button, this is the only trunk button on the car. That's it. It's that or whatever's on your key. So if you are getting groceries and putting them in the car, one thing that we have found very annoying is you either have to get your key out, fumble around for it, and pop the trunk, or you have to come around, open the door, pop the trunk this way, go back, open the trunk, close it, etc. It sucks. I think it's really dumb. It's cool that this you can pop the lid for the fuel door here as well, though, because I just think it's a safer way of doing that. I don't know why more cars don't have that. One thing that we both love about this car when we drive it is that it has a floor-mounted gas pedal. It's super comfortable. You can just rest your foot on it when driving, and it's really nice. I wish more cars had floor-mounted pedals. Super comfortable. Also, the steering in this car feels so nice. Like, it's stiff, if that makes sense, but it's very stable. So you're driving down the road. If you're like super tired, maybe you had like a insane pump that day, you're going back from the gym, it might be tough to drive this thing home, tougher than other cars because it's a little harder to steer it. But on the highway, it feels very stable, very controlled, and it feels like a luxury car, which is, I mean, it kind of is. It's like got that Genesis heritage in there, which is cool. But the steering, probably the best out of any coupe steering I've ever felt. It's very, very nice. This is a pedal commander. Basically increases throttle response, makes the car a lot more punchy, but we ended up not really using it a lot. It's an 8-speed transmission, so it's got a lot of gears to go through. If you're on the highway cruising 8th gear, maybe you floor it to get out of the way of something or speed up. It does take a while to get down to gear, so this would help a lot, and it does work. We just don't really use it for whatever reason. This is a 2015, so it's about on par with everything else back in 2015. But if you come up here, you can see it's got some really cool gauges here. These all actually work. I don't know if it's gonna go. No, it's not gonna go when I rev it, but these, like this torque gauge, whenever you're driving around town, it is always active. It's always going, you know, left and right, up and down. This is pretty accurate as well, the fuel consumption. It's and it looks great too, in my opinion. It looks like a race car. You got a little door here for USB auxiliary. This actually kind of broke, so I don't know if that's a common issue with Genesis Coupe, but it kind of like doesn't close nicely anymore, which sucks. You have your sunglasses holder here. My car doesn't have that. I wish I had it, so that's cool. It's got Bluetooth. It doesn't have infotainment, navigation, any of that. Like I said, this is the base model, but we don't really need any of that stuff. We don't really care about it that much. But if you do, I would, you know, recommend going with the R spec or the Ultimate, which those are a lot more expensive. They might not be worth it for you. I believe it's like a $4,000 or $5,000 upgrade. From what I just looked at prices, they're around $21,000 for the R spec or the Ultimate, which is crazy because you can just get this for, you know, $16,000, and then you can upgrade it yourself if you choose to do so. This is a fully telescoping wheel, and it comes up really far, which is nice because it's super comfortable. You can pretty much find any position that you want. Back seat wise, here, I'll get back there so you can see. Back seat kind of sucks if you're an adult, because you don't have any headroom at all. Like, you kind of have to sit like this. A lot of times if we're riding with people in the car, you kind of just have to just sit up and just hang out with the people up front, because you're not sitting back no matter what. They're definitely kind of the bitch seats back here. Not really usable. One thing that's actually a pretty big issue with these cars that you might want to keep in mind, and we're always kind of mindful of it whenever we're getting in and out of the car, but we're kind of used to it now. It's almost second nature. Because of these seats, you're susceptible to rips because because of the pattern and the texture of it. You can kind of get caught on if there's something in your back pocket, or if you sit on something. So getting in and out of the car, you kind of want to be careful, or just mindful of what's, you know, what you're sitting on, or what, you know, what's on your belt. Literally anything, because if you look through the forums and everything, people are asking what's a good way to repair this and stuff like that. And actually, when looking at cars, that was an issue a common issue that you see is you'll see that the seats are damaged. And then something also good to mention, it has paddle shifters. They work very well. They're pretty responsive and fast and nice. Obviously, left is down, right is up. To go back to automatic mode, you just push both of them at the same time for a couple seconds and it goes back. So you don't even have to do that whole thing where you change it right here and then change it back. You can just, if you want to, you know, downshift at a light or something and then go back to normal mode, it'll do it, or it'll just automatically do it for you if you forget, which is pretty nice. The speakers in this car are really good stock, actually. I think they are, if I had to rate them out of 10, I would give them a 6 out of 10, which is saying a lot, because this is base model. I mean, Hyundai Genesis, I think they've always had good speakers in my opinion, but like my Ford base model, I would say my speakers are probably a 1 or a 2. But as you can see, the trunk space, it's decent. It's not great. Not super practical for the daily driver, but if you're somebody that wants this car as a weekender, it's more than enough. I mean, you can definitely take this on a road trip with as a couple with your husband or wife or whatever. One thing I do want to mention as well, this latch has broken. We had to take it to get repaired, and then other things that I've got wrong. The AC broke completely and had to get that repaired. We were noticing an oil leak one day, so that was the diagnosis, but they ended up replacing the PCV valve, and drive belt needed to be replaced as well. They also replaced the engine intake manifold, and that was about $1,500 worth of repairs, including labor. The brakes also needed some maintenance, so they replaced the rotors and the pads, and that was included in that price. For the most part, I mean, if you're a college student or someone young that wants a fast, fun car, this is a great car to have. One thing that's pretty interesting about this car is the tires are staggered stock. In the front, we're sporting 225s. In the back, we're sporting 265s. This happens to everybody that has these cars. Literally everybody that has a Genesis Coupe will experience this and has experienced this. To my knowledge, at least. The paint just chips away at these fake little vents. I hate these. I wish they were at least real or made well. This happens, the paint starts to chip off, and then there's white exposed under it. We've painted over it with primer and paint and whatever. Hasn't worked. I think we probably just suck at it and we need to do it again. In terms of mods, I know that she really wants to get new wheels and tires on it. That's kind of something that she's been looking at a lot. So if anybody has like any tire or wheel and tire, but mainly wheel recommendations, drop them in the comments. Other things that you can do that are pretty cool. The taillights are really sick. If you look those up online, they have cool aftermarket options. Same with the headlights. The grille is another thing that is probably going to be done at some point. Just getting an aftermarket grille. I think it looks a lot better. I would like her to get a front splitter. I don't know. We'll see. And this is a warm start. We've been driving it a little bit today. Got a little bit of rumble to it. Let's go for a drive. All right, going on a little drive now. We have low tire pressure on the front right tire, just letting you guys know. Fun little pull there. It's a good, it's nothing crazy. You know, it's 348 horsepower, but it feels really nice in this car just because of how nice the car feels. On a scale of 1 to 10, I don't know why I'm doing this like I'm Doug DeMuro and I'm giving it like a Doug score. For what it is in this category, this is a solid 8 out of 10 car. The only reason why it's not a 10 out of 10 is because I think it could have more torque, and I think it could be more reliable. But I think it looks great, and it's fun to drive, and it's a great place to be. So there's really nothing that beats that. So this car, stock, it pops, man. And that, you know, we like that on this channel. So I just want to show you, it really doesn't pop unless you're in neutral and you rev it like while you're driving for some reason, or unless the engine's not warm. So we're gonna go under a bridge and we're gonna show you. Oh my God, one more. And it's not like those pops where it's like little burbles. That's like, those are pops right there. That's good. This car, the exhaust, probably the best sounding V6 exhaust ever. And I think it's just because it's a high liter V6. I don't think there's I can't think of a higher liter V6. That might be it, but I don't know. Whatever they're doing, 'cause this car just literally has a muffler delete.